Okay guys, we're back out here. Got the 2 3/8 nipples blocked off, which is used for either PCV system or a power brake setup. If you have engine vacuum. Ported vacuum, which would run for your distributor if you run it that way. And then right over here, there's one on each one that's manifold vacuum. Some people run the distributor that way. So as soon as the car fires up, it goes to full advance. Okay, we got the first piece on. Doesn't sound like much, but it all hinges off of that. You can see it's notched out for the carburetor so it doesn't spin left to right. It's a little Heim joint. Allows for a little difference. Now this carburetor and that carburetor are 2 different heights. If anybody's ever picked up on that. They did that in the olden days for some reason. I can't put the other block on. I gotta do all the linkage, which is right there. Then I'll fish it through the backside. So I'm gonna clean this piece by piece and put it back together. And hopefully remember how it all goes. So, let's work on it. Yeah, okay. Remember that one I put there? It goes there. And the only way it fits there is to take the fuel line back off. But I did the smart thing this time. I took the whole contraption and made sure it goes in at this point, around the nitrous lines and everything. So, which it does. Okay, the upper part's on. Front carb, rear carb, down to the pivot. Stuff is weird. It's black, but it's like coated. So it's hard to explain what it looks like. If you look at it, these are not coated with the same stuff as that. So it has like a grayish washed out look, and that's the way they've always looked. They almost look old, but I was not going to stand there and paint those. So they're aluminum. Everything there is aluminum, except for this shaft is an aluminum. And obviously the bolts are all stainless. But that's the way it sits. It actually sits on an angle, but that's the way it worked out last time I set this thing up. So it always worked nice. Got new springs, so we got to make the springs. Nice. There you go, guys.
This weekend on the Shark is brought to you by
Nice.
Looking for an exciting career in the automotive field? The Rally Auto Group is hiring.
No playing it whatsoever.
LLYE.com and click on Rally Jobs.
So obviously when you adjust the idle, there's only so far you can move each screw before you have to deal with that. Loosen those turnbuckles. So it becomes a nightmare. So I'm sure it might need very slight tweaking. But we'll see how that goes. We're not up to that yet. So I'm happy with that. Call it good. Now you know why the nitrous lines are bent in certain directions to clear certain things. You just wonder why it has that random bend in it. Same on the other side. How it comes down and then rises back up. So you want to word it lowers under these fuel lines. Try and make it as pleasing to the eye. This one just comes straight down in the ramp zone. See, I don't just make it bend. I do it almost like a question mark. I like that much better. This is just a bend because it's going to come straight down. But since that's going to come back, you got to add a little style to it. Okay, that's on there. You can see the rods on here. Onto the belt crank. Holy erector sets. So I don't rely on these springs. Obviously we need a little bit more. I'm thinking the ones I bought are a little stiff. Okay, the linkage is done. I actually reset the carburetor linkages. I actually, when I put the cable end back on, I put it in a little further so I bit onto a new piece, even though it sticks in that much. Just in case. Didn't look like it was frayed, but I wanted something fresh. So that made it so I had to readjust everything. So I didn't want to take it all out in this rod. So I did a little in the rod, then I did a little both on those. The idle screws have not moved, but that don't mean the idle is set. So this is just a baseline. But as you can see, the throttle cable's in. My little rod is back there. My wing nuts on there. A lot of stuff just fits in this car. If you look the way that cable is, it almost touches the intake, but it doesn't. It's away a good 1/8 of an inch. Just like this almost touches the nitrous line, but it doesn't. And it misses through the whole process. So really the only thing left on this throttle is the springs. I gotta get soft the springs. Yeah. I think we're gonna call it here for tonight. So we still gotta do some cleaning down in there, I've noticed. Like I said, it could never end if I wanted it to. But, yeah, people will be looking at the carburetors. They'll never look down, right? It's like a low-cut shirt. No one ever looks at the girl's shoes, right? So, with that said, I think we did pretty good. Like I said, we got all the linkage on minus the springs. Throttle all back on. My levers all back on there. Got the scoop back on there. The scoop does get an insert of filter in here, which was blue. That's all body dust. So I actually want to pop this, enlarge the holes a couple of sizes, change the filter and put it back on.